Hi guys, welcome to Cinnamon and Honey Reborn Nursery. Today we're here with limited edition Corey, and he is getting painted today. Well, getting his painting started, and then probably take about a week or two to get him painted, and then another week or two for his hair. But wanted to share with you guys, right now the step I'm on, I washed him with Dawn dish soap with hot water. And now I'm putting him in the New Wave oven to dry. I've tried to air dry them before and they end up having like water spots on them. So I do recommend you use the New Wave oven. And that way it dries all the little spots and they don't affect the painting. So just want to share a few painting tips with you guys. This is the New Wave oven and I'll show you guys how it works. You put him in there, you got to make sure that none of his limbs are touching and that none of the limbs are touching any of the plastic or the metal on the New Wave oven. And then what we will do, what is recommended, is we will do power level 6 and then cook time 8 and then start. And that will get him started drying and then we'll get him painted. So let's see, can't wait for you guys to see how he turns out. But when he's done, I'll be right back. All right, now he's done. We're gonna take him out of the heat, put him over here to cool down a little bit. Now I have a drying rack, but you don't want to put him on the drying rack when you don't want to put them on the drying rack until they cool off, because it can cause like indentions on the baby, like on their knees or wherever the peg hits them. Say hi to Miss Olivia. Hi, Miss Olivia. And then we have a Gracie May here. But this is the setup I have. One of my little pegs broke off, so I put that one on the towel. But yeah, we'll get started painting this cute little Corey, and I'll show you guys how he turned out. Okay guys, now we're getting started on little Corey here. So cute, look at that face. What we're going to use, we're going to use a little sponge. I buy these at Walmart in the makeup section. Then I'm going to use a little detail brush to get in the creases. This is my brush that I mixed the red with. Now this is a red wash. What you're going to do is you're going to make it, I don't know if you can see it when it goes down the side there. Let me see here. See, it's very light. It should be translucent, so don't put too much red in there. And we're going to do 2 red washes, and then we're going to, with a mop brush or a clean makeup brush, clean that off, and I'll show you what I mean. Just want to do a quick tutorial for all you new reborners out there. We got a little bit of something on her or him. Okay, so what I do is I just make sure I stir it up really well because it does settle. Okay, stir it up. And then when you do the wash, you're going to just put it pretty good and make sure you get in the ears and all the creases. And you can let it drip down toward the back of the head, that's fine. But it is going to transform this baby into a real looking baby. Let's see here. So I like to do the front first, but it dripped back here. See if you can't stop like some of the drips, and then we'll continue with the back of the head. And then what I do, once I get that on there, is I take this makeup brush or mop brush, you can get that they call it, and just pounce. It kind of gives them a nice skin texture too. You want to clean this off on the paper towel every now and then just go ahead and continue. Just hitting it with this, trying to get on any of the paint that's in the creases. Make sure you don't miss any areas. All right. Now we'll do the back of the head real quick. We just have a little section here actually to do the back of the head. Some people don't do the whole head if they're rooting the hair, but I find that it makes it look more realistic when you do the back of the head at the same time you do the face. That way everything is the same color. But we're just pouncing it on, kind of pouncing it into the vinyl. And then we will take our little detail brush and we will go inside the ears. Make sure we're not leaving any paint. Go behind the ears. Just getting that little ear here. And kind of blot that off. Now what you want to do is you want to get in the creases. See how he has like a lot of red in these creases. Just kind of pounce it in there. Make sure you get all the creases. It won't hurt if you leave a little bit in the creases, but it can make like a pretty strong line in there if you're not careful. So you want to make sure, what I do is just go ahead and get it all out. I've heard people say that you can leave a little bit in there, but we want to make sure we get all the creases. And then around the back of the head, gonna do that little line there, that little line that you see, any of these creases, you want to make sure that they're cleaned out. And then what I do with this other brush is I just go back after I do the creases and just redo it, make sure everything is super even, make sure there's no missing spots, make sure you didn't miss anything. All right, it's looking good. Now we're going to continue this same way on the limbs where we brush it on, pounce it off, and then sometime I'll even use the sponge a little bit if it looks like there's too much red. I'll use a little bit of sponge, especially on the face area. The face is the most important area of the whole Reborn baby, and you want to make sure that the face is actually perfect, that there's no little lint or hair sticking to it. You want to make sure that there's nothing pooling on the face, no pools of paint, I mean, pooling. But anyway, but yeah, that's it. That is the first coat. We're going to do 2 of those, and then I'll get back with you guys and show you what we do next. So do the head and then all 4 limbs, and we'll meet back here in a minute. This is what the baby looks like after 1 red wash, and then we are going to do a second red wash, and I'll show you guys what the baby looks like after the second red wash. Okay, this is our sweet little Corey, and this is with 2 coats of red wash. So far, that's what we've done, just 2 coats of a red wash. I do recommend baking between these 2 red coats. Lately, I've been having the kits, not Bountiful Baby, which people say they have issues with those. I've never had issues with the Bountiful Baby kit. This baby is from either McPherson's or Trueborn's, I'm not sure, but it's supposed to be, you know, more high-end kit, and it definitely more expensive to purchase and to Reborn. And there's one spot on his head right here that didn't take the paint. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, so with these particular kits, certain kits, I do recommend doing 1 red wash and then baking it at level 6 for 9 minutes and then doing another red wash. I did 2 red washes and then baked, and I have some spots that it didn't take, so I might do another red wash, but I'll have to check and see. After that, we're going to do a blue wash and a yellow wash, so stay tuned. Now for the second set of blue washes, second set of washes, I'm going to do blue, and again, like you can see, it's translucent, you can see through it, and this is just paint thinner with a Genesis Heat Set Paint Blue. And I know Genesis is not available anymore, but whatever paint you use, just make sure it's translucent. And we're going to start with the foot. We just brush it on there. You shouldn't be seeing too much blue on your baby when you take this off, so we'll see if it's too blue. If you can see that there. Then we're going to take our little brush, and this should tone down the red some and give it a little more lifelike feel, or look rather. Just gonna make sure you're getting all the creases. Perfect. No, that blue's perfect. It doesn't show up that much. Gonna make sure you get out of all the little creases here. You shouldn't see any blue in these creases. And make sure you inspect your work before you bake it to make sure that you didn't miss something. Make sure that there's no creases. Oh, there's the oven going off. And make sure that you don't see any blue, like on the tip of the toes or anywhere. You want to blend that really nicely. Okay. And always do one section at a time so you can hold the foot and have more coverage. So you see the blue when it goes on there, but you can't really see it when you blot it off. So that's what we're looking for. Just a deeper skin tone to make a nice shading on this baby. Yep, just keep blotting, pouncing it into the vinyl. Take your smaller brush and get in all of these creases. Make sure it didn't go back down to the ankle when you did this part. And then you can even, if you have too much, you can even dab some off with a sponge. Just make sure it's even, that you don't have any sponge marks. Okay, now the top of the leg. Then you want to blend in all that blue. A little hair on there somehow. Make sure your workstation is super clean. Sorry about that. There was a glitch in the matrix. My phone storage was full, so I had to delete a few things. This is the limb with the blue wash, and this is the limb that just has the 2 red washes. So if you can see the difference, it's starting to get warm up, and what you want to do is build on your layers and keep building, building, building until you get a flesh tone. So this one was with the blue, and this is just 2 reds. So what you need to do is just continue doing the blue wash on this leg, the 2 arms and the head, and then we'll go to the next step. So go ahead and start doing the blue washes just like I did on this leg here, and we'll meet back here for the next step. Okay guys, now that I have done 2 red washes and 1 blue wash, now I'm on the veining, and I'm not sure if you can see this. Let me bring it a little closer. Can you see the veins there? So I already did some of them, but I just wanted to touch on this and show you how. So first of all, you need a tiny, 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 tiny detail brush. I don't know if you can see that, but tiny detail brush. And you want your blue to be, you want it to be light, but not so light that you can't see the veins. But you want to make the veins blend into the skin to look like they're actual veins and not just a line on the baby. So what we'll do, trying to show you I have a little cap here that I put some blue paint, and I'm just going to go down the side of the leg and onto the foot. And onto the foot a little bit. And then you just take a sponge and kind of blot it out. And don't worry about it like fanning out a little bit, because that makes it look even more realistic when you get the vein on there. So what I'll do is I'll just blot it. And then I will actually give it one little rub. Yeah, just like a little gentle rub. You don't want to rub the paint off, even though it's been baked. That can happen. So yeah, just a little bitty veins to make it look realistic. And in the arms, kind of already started without you guys. So I've just done like straight down the back of the arm. And then here, when you get to here, make it like a split, like a fork. You can put them in any way you want. You can look at veins on real babies and see where they're positioned. But what I did, and I just put a little bit on the shoulder, and I like to put a tiny vein on the elbow. I don't know if you can see that. So you shouldn't be able to see it very much when you put it on there. And when you blot it out, it actually is gonna like look really nice. So yeah, that's the veining. And we'll do all the limbs on that. Now for the head, you want to be very careful when veining the head. You want to start on the back just to make sure that your paint is good. So kind of start in the top, go down, just make them squiggly lines like that. You guys see that? And then should be some veins, you know, going toward this way. Whoops, that one was a little thick. We'll have to make sure and wipe that off pretty quickly. I mean, it's not really going to matter in the head because their hair is either going to be painted or rooted. But the thing is, it looks more realistic when you see the veins underneath the... I still like to do the veins on the head. It just looks more realistic to me. And then once you kind of blend them into the vinyl, then you give them a light little rub down the line. This is always a tricky one. I like to do this one, but you got to be careful. So with this one, I'm going to go right in the middle of the forehead, like starting right here, and then I'm going to go up. Well, let me do it and then I'll show you guys because I don't want to mess up this Corey kit. Like that. You see that? Can you see it? But yeah, I like to go right down the middle of the forehead. Give them a little vein there. And then I also like, then you're gonna, you know, like I said, just blot this. Give it a little rub to make it look like it's under the skin. And voila. There you go. And then I also like to put one vein on each side of here on the temple. So starting about here and just coming down to the eye area. Can you see that? And then obviously we will blot that, make it blend into the skin. And I'm still going to do a lot more washes and mottling layers on this baby. So they will start looking like they're more and more underneath the skin, but you do want to start out with them pretty light. So yeah, that's the veining. Next, we'll do creasing. And then we'll be pretty much, after we do the creasing and some details. Okay, see that? Okay. After we do some creasing and some details, some more mottling layers, trying to make this as easy as I can for you guys. trying to make it as short as I can. That's why I'm not doing like all the limbs for you. You can pretty much, once you know how to do the veins, you can pretty much figure out where to place them, either by looking at a real newborn baby or looking at another. Actually, you can find a diagram of reborn baby veins online, so you can use that as a guide too. So this is little Corey after 2 red washes, 1 blue wash. I did some blue shading across the nose and a little bit in the corner of the eyes and a little bit by the mouth. And then we will do a yellow wash and then a purple model and then a red model. So I'll get back with you guys when we're ready to do the yellow wash. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, with every color that you do, with every wash and every model, you want to go ahead and go inside the ears and put that color. And then you want to go inside the nose with that color. And some of the colors on the lips, I do put blue on the lips, but see, it's making it look more shaded. Okay. Then we put a little bit of blue in the ears, going to give it some shading and some depth. See that? And then we're going to take a brush and just blot it out, blend it in. You see that's already looking more 3D. And the blue is really important. You can't just use red in the ears. You have to use blue, red, every color that you do. And with the nose, you want to go up the little nostrils, but be very careful that you don't get it on the outside of the nose. Okay. And then you want to take another brush that'll go up their nose without. Just stick it up there and roll it around. See how that looks. All right, that's starting to look better. And then I would just gently dab the nose to make sure nothing went on the outside. And voila. All right, so stay tuned for the yellow wash and the purple model. Okay, here we are with the yellow wash. Instead of a wash, I've decided to do a yellow model on this baby. You just kind of have to look as you go along and see. And I feel like this kit originally, that when it came, had a little bit of a yellowish tone to it. So I don't want to do too much yellow. So I'm just going to do a light yellow on this baby. Just want to mix it up. Your modeling sponge, you can just take either with tweezers or your fingers, a regular sponge, and pick those pieces out. Like I said, I don't want to do too much yellow on this baby because I feel like it already has some yellow. So I decided not to do the wash. Now you just put some on the sponge and then start over here and just lightly tap. Lightly, lightly, lightly. Tap some on the nose, around the eyes. With the yellow, I do the whole face. I don't do too much red model on the face, and I don't do too much purple model on the face, because babies' faces aren't really that modeled. But this will show just under the skin. Let me lean back a little bit. Now this isn't like 100% the way to do it. This is the way I do it. So I'm just sharing with you guys the way I do it. There is literally a million different ways to reborn a baby, and I've tried hundreds of different combinations. But this combination is the one that I found I really like the most. So that's why I'm doing him in this color. So when you get done with the yellow, it should look something like this. And you want to do this on all the limbs. You want to make sure that there's no yellow in the creases. If there is, you want to go through and just blot a little bit. Make sure there's nothing in the creases. Lightly, 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 because even though you bake this kit's been giving me a little bit of trouble with rubs. So even though you baked it, you want to be very careful when you're blotting it. All right, so he looks good. Continue to do this on all the limbs. And then you guys stay tuned for part 2, where we will finish this baby. And don't forget to subscribe so you can keep in touch and keep up with all the new videos that are coming out. This is the first video that I've put on showing how to paint a baby, only because I like to really focus on painting the baby and not recording when I'm reborning. But I thought it would be a cool tip for beginners, and maybe you could learn a few tips and try to reborn your own baby. So stay tuned for part 2, and thank you guys so much. See you soon.